Hello, and welcome to a game of Ice and Fire. When last we left off, Martan, Skrel, and his companions left the island of Arlen and House Tide to travel back to their home on Skrel. In the narrow sea, they came across a slave ship bound for Pentos, and slaughtered the slavers, rescuing most of the passengers. The slave Badru was saved by Nicholas, and has sworn to serve him. Upon returning home, they were greeted with a meal and were able to discuss in more detail what had taken place on Arlen. After the meal, Lord Baylor took his son to his solar for a private discussion, where he revealed that Lorena's dreams reminded him of his own, and that it seemed that Lorena had been watching Martan through the eyes of the birds, even attempting to warn him of the approach of Sir Byron Rock. Lord Baylor also confessed to a similar experience of his own as a child, when his sister died of a snake bite. The final thing that Lord Baylor revealed to his son is that there has been news from King's Landing. Lord John Arryn, the Hand of the King, is dead. King Robert Baratheon has left with much of his court on his way to Winterfell.
No, we're live, baby.
All right.
That's it. Now we're here.
Here we are.
So-
now we're in.
We discovered, Drew, that when you deafen, we can't hear you.
Yeah,
The
that's
Joshes.
right. Bringing everyone back in, you all finished your meal and were able to retire to your rooms. I would kind of like to bring everyone in their own private rooms, in their own way.
Badru's probably going to be outside of Nicholas's door.
I was hoping that you would choose
Just-
that. Yeah, something
just
along
kind
those
of-
lines.
Just kind of waiting, just in case he needed anything throughout the night.
Very early hours of the night, you feel the door kind of bump against your back, and a startled Nicholas, "Oh,
Do you need anything? Water?
going to make water. Do you mind? Can I,
Oh,
myself?"
please.
And he, kind of quickly walks down the hallway, down to the privy chambers, and...
Never out of sight, except when he closes the door.
He tries his best not to make eye contact with you on the way back, and closes the door and tries to pretend that you're not falling asleep right outside his bedroom again. In the morning, Nicholas, kind of you hear the door crack open, and if you look
Badru's
behind,
just doing push-ups.
just doing push-ups. All right, as you're doing those push-ups, you glance up and you see a very hesitant Nicholas peering through the door, and when he sees you, he says, "Oh, I trust you slept well. Did you need
I-
anything?"
No, I don't believe this is the first night I've slept with an actual roof above my head in a few weeks. But it was a long journey.
We'll try to make sure that your night tonight is much more comfortable. We'll get you your accommodations, a bed, and your own room, with no need to have you sleeping on the floor again. That was an oversight on our end. Please, come in. I'll have us some food brought up. And he makes arrangements with one of the pages. Have some breakfast brought in, a light morning beer, and some bacon. Badru, I couldn't help but notice. I understand you feel you owe me a debt. While I very fundamentally disagree with you, I appreciate your service, and I won't say no to a helping hand. I'd like to know a little bit more about you. I saw, well, I think several of us noticed a bleeding on the floor last night at dinner. Are you well?
Well, yes, I'm fine. It was just part of the ritual I perform day to day. If I can't spill others' blood, then a little nick here or there is not going to kill you.
See, now that's terrifying. You have to spill a drop of blood every day?
To appease my god.
Ah, what god would that be?
I was furiously searching my notes.
I won't have you make a knowledge test. The black goat.
That's
of
just what it's
Kohor.
called.
That's just what it's called.
I just figured as an acolyte, I probably wouldn't refer to it that way. But yeah, sure. Okay, the black goat, Nicholas. Have you heard of it?
Oh, find out.
Gotta be high, right? He's a fairly learned man.
Yeah, this deals with something that he at least has a reason to know something about. All right, yeah, he's got a 4 in knowledge with a couple of bonuses in education. Maester training paid off. 14. Yes, one of the gods of the free cities, I believe. Ohor?
Kohor, yes.
Ohor, yes, a bit of a gateway to the east.
The man who taught me
Dreadful
the
place.
spear
By all accounts.
taught me the ways of the Black Coat.
Perhaps you'll share more about that with us over time. I won't try to take crowds away from you, but
I
perhaps
think I've heard you have 7 here.
yes, in Westeros, most people 7 gods who are
That's
one.
A lot of blood.
None of them ask for blood. The stranger is a bit of a mysterious god, god of death, but they don't demand blood. Anyway, could I at least give you a box of bandages or something, if you're going to do that, or maybe supply you with what's a typical sacrifice if it's not your own blood?
Generally, a good hunt. Boar.
All right, well, there'll be
Orc.
plenty of opportunities for that. Pork. Yeah, yes, and he picks up the bacon. Well, on that at least, maybe you'll keep us well supplied with. I'll try to be positive. This bloody religion. Well, let us enjoy our meal. From there, we will transition over to Martan. Wake up in your bed chambers for the first time in a while. What would you like to do this morning? Anything specific that you would like to do with your morning?
Yes, I would like to speak with Lorena. Sorry. I'll go see her.
All right. Yeah, you make your way to her rooms and knock on her door, and very shortly she comes in. Come in. Good to see you again. Is there something I can do for you this morning?
Yes, I had a discussion with Father last night. Let's talk about what happened to you.
Father has seemed worried. Maester Hargreave assures me it's nothing. Strange experiences. What would you like to know?
Did you tell Father exactly what happened? Or was it just relayed through Maester Hargreave?
No, I told Father. I told Father a little more. I told Father what I thought he might believe, and maybe a little that I thought he wouldn't. I don't really understand what I saw. Been having strange dreams for a long time. You keep coming up in them, and that you travel with, I can't explain. And
Most recently, what did you see? Did you see us?
no, most recently I didn't. Recently it was quiet waves. But before that, yes, saw you in the wood, saw you down, saw you on the sea. Looked like a man in iron skin after you tried to warn you and your friends. Tried to explain that to Father, but I don't know if he understood. To scream a warning, and nothing I said did made any sense. For a while I went away.
When you say didn't make sense, what do you mean? Like, your words weren't your words, or your tongue was caught, or what do you mean?
I tried to shout a warning, tried to say, look out, he's coming, but it didn't like you understood.
There was a bird.
There was a bird?
A bird, yes. It came down. It seemed frantic. It chirped. It flew around. It flew towards my face. Just before the attack, I guess.
Sure, it was a bird.
Oh, yes. Quite sure.
She grabs your arm, and she has this look of wonder on her as she looks back at you and says, they're real. Martan, I can fly.
Now, in these states,
In my dreams,
you
I can fly. In my dreams, I can fly. And that dream I had while I was awake. And I flew. And she just starts giggling and crying and just genuinely freaking out. This is, you can tell that she's not understood what she's seen, but this makes it all make sense. It also reveals to you that her father didn't tell her what these were, because then she would know.
Sister,
Yes?
your father didn't tell you any stories, did he?
Stories of what?
Last night, father called me to his solaire. It was a solaire, right? Not just his room.
It's a solar. The room where the sun
Solar.
enters during the day. It's an office.
Solar. Anyways, what you've experienced, he told me a story of something similar. Something that occurred to him when he was younger.
What?
He didn't
what-
mention it to you.
No. What did he say?
He said that. Well, I don't know if he said that it ever happened more than once. But once, he had the same occurrence as you. It was when his sister was bitten by a snake. He thinks that he did it. He thinks that he was responsible. Maybe he doesn't think he does. Maybe he doesn't believe. Or not wakingly believes it, at least. I can't believe he didn't tell you this.
Oh, he did.
Maybe. Or maybe it's dangerous.
Well, very least, it's like he might believe that it is.
Have you...
And think of what that means. I could always visit you. I could think of the places I could think of the things that I gotta figure out how to get better, how to figure out how it works. And if father believes that he does it, I think he knows more.
The only way you'll know for certain is if you ask him. But these states are... Do they occur at random, or do you do something?
It started with just dreams. I saw flashes during the night. Felt like I was flitting through the got longer and I started to recognize things, places. And then when you left, I found myself often thinking of you and of your companions. On those nights, I found a way to see. Really sure how, but then back in the woods, I tried reaching out during the day while I was awake. See, it was so terrifying that I haven't tried again.
I believe it to be wise to use caution. Speak to Father. Speak to Maester Hargrave. Or Nicholas.
Yes, I'm sure that they will all advise caution. But I will. Come on. Maester's got his chain, but Nicholas, like he's always been that kind of. Yeah, I'll start.
My boy Nick.
Is it perhaps some very old magic? Real magic, though.
Who would have thought? And from there, let's transition over. Let's see. Let's do Radova next. Radova, you awake in your bed chambers. Had a night of very restful sleep. Your level of hungoverness is up to you. What would you like to do with your morning?
Probably the first thing that Radova does is makes his way, kind of stumbling, kind of tired, more hungover than he meant to be, but not as hungover as he wanted to be. And he's actually going to go and find Sir Darren Valoran this morning.
Okay. Yeah. Sir Darren has his own quarters in the castle. You know where they are. They are easy enough to find. You knock on his door and find him already awake and dressed and breakfasted. Seems to be a early riser when at home. Radova. Yes. Morning. What can I do for you?
Well, Sir Darren, truth is I've got well, conundrum might be too strong a word for it, but I had something on my mind ever since we got back from our little excursion out into the woods. And I figure probably you're the best person whose brain to pick about it, for at least to see if I'm in my right mind or not about it. Take a walk with me, would you?
Yes, of course. Picks up the last bits of bread and cheese and his mug of half-drunk beer and takes a step out into the hall with you.
Radova's going to walk with him and walk and talk down towards the training yards. There's corner of it that Radova tends to kind of stick to. He'll train with anybody, he'll fight with anybody, but a lot of times he kind of goes into the corner and figures out his own shit, kind of works on all the stuff that he's learned over the years, and spends a lot of time really just trying to wrap his head around the way that people fight on land compared to what he was used to. As they're walking along, he kind of drums his fingers on the hilt of his dagger. When we were in the woods and fighting these bastards in their blood-moneyed quest to take Martan's head and Lord Tides and all of ours, to be sure, I couldn't help but think that, our man Thali is exceptional at what he does. Can put an arrow into just about anything from as far away as you like, and 2 and 3 more besides. And you, of course, have your fancy armor and your big sword, and it's all very impressive. I'm very good at what I do, Sir Darren. Make no mistake, I'm not of any other mind than that. I am exceptional at what I excel at, and I'm afraid it's not enough. Seeing Martan taking these steps to be the diplomat that his father needs him to be, stepping out into the world and us alongside him as well as I'd like to be. There's more out there than I'm used to dealing with. My expertise is with pirates, with things on the ocean, fighting in close quarters, and in a bar fight, in the hallways of a castle. That's fine. It does me plenty good. Out in a forest, or a field, on the road, in a courtyard, where there's open space and I have to cross a distance and hit somebody, that's where I start to feel a mite more useless. I don't know if maybe I'm just in my head about it in a particular way after rescuing those people off of that ship. It sort of brought up a lot of unpleasant memories, and maybe I'm just dwelling on it too much, but I figure if anybody had a thought for me, or a suggestion of how to fix the problem as I see it, it would be you.
Well, can't say how much I able to help get better weapons. I use a great sword and plate armor, far removed from the equipment you use. But if you want to learn how to use those, I'd be more than happy to impart what knowledge I can. I can, of course, get the Master at Arms and go over those things. Especially, I've most of what I like to work on in the training yard, besides the great jousts, getting to show my medal at a tournament one day.
Show your medal. That's good. No, I don't. No offense meant to you. I do not think that the great sword and lance are particularly helpful skills for me to learn. There's a great deal of physical conditioning that you've done to excel in those areas, and that's just not something that I have any particular interest in doing myself. But I figure
have a
you
bonus
might,
dice in strength. That's it's all in the biceps.
Sure. No,
Well, you tend to use the short blades, and I use pretty much the opposite end of the spectrum. About something in the middle, something like a long sword or rapier or a bravosi blade, something along lines?
That is unfortunately the same conclusion that I've come to myself. As impressive as I find those men what can swing around the battle axe, it's again not particularly anything that I think I can do, and well, if I'm being honest, I think most of the people who would swing around the long swords are compensating for something, or jackasses, or both. But your Braavosi fighters, that does seem a touch more attainable in my mind, and having seen a couple myself, I can vouch for their effectiveness in these other places. The God's truth is I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm so used to stabbing men and swinging fists that something that particular has always seemed to touch out of my reach.
Well, if you're looking for something in the Braavosi style, maybe we can furnish you with a practice weapon. You can get acquainted with the styles. Maybe we can get the Master at Arms to teach you a thing or two. And in the meantime, perhaps we can have Lord Baylor send off, or can find a trainer from Bravos. Somebody who's got some more experience in style of.
Rodova makes a face that is not disgust exactly, but he kind of scrunches his face up, and I wish to the gods that didn't make sense. The idea of people going out of their way to teach me something, or to invest their time and money into me, has always filled me with a distaste. It seems wasteful, but well, I think if I am to continue in this way, I do need to learn some new tricks, and if your Master at Arms can't teach me what I need to know, you might be right. Fuck.
I'm sure at the very least he can get you started. Yeah. Get a trainer from Bravos, from another of the free cities. These water dancers. Something like here. Let's go have a conversation. Arms. Get you set up.
I appreciate it, Sir Darren. You're a good man.
And if you wish, you can start training with either a new weapon or in a different style. And then effectively, any amount of time that you spend with someone who is better skilled in that area than you, you'll gain experience. So, the Master at Arms will be able to help you a little bit of the way there. He can help you gain. Well, it depends on how you wanted to work on it, because we can work on like your base skill, like your abilities, or we can work on your focus in for special like weapons you wanted to use.
Yeah.
But that kind of session and the same. Because that'll be a little.
There's a lot of mechanical bits.
There'll be a lot of mechanical bits and details that we don't need right this instant. But yeah, we're able to go ahead and get started training with a Braavosi blade, should you wish. Start learning how to hold the blade, kind of the different stances. Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, and then that brings us Ollie.
Hello.
Oh. Dolly, awake in your bed chamber.
Oh,
Sounded really good.
thank you.
ASMR stuff.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
sexual. Necessarily.
Please, God, don't.
Ollie, you awake
Yeah.
in your chambers in
I do.
Skrel Castle. Is there anything that you would like to do special with you?
Thali is going to do the thing. I'm going to spend the morning the way that I normally do, which is wake up early. Going to wash my face and shave with a sharp blade. Fling open the window, sit in front of it, for some meditation, some quiet moments. He's going to take some coffee before he heads down to breakfast. So hopefully somebody will help him out with that. As he opens his window for his morning meditation, he is going to release his hawk and let Yak do the oot and a boot type thing. And so he's gonna allow the hawk to roam, and he'll continue his meditation as the hawk kind of does its thing. And then what time
What
of
are you? How are you meditating? What way are you
Just-
meditating? Are you? Is Thali praying?
I don't think Thali is a religious sort. I think that he might have come across it in many times in his life, and nothing's really stuck. He's been with, one group or another that may have served one god or one set of gods or another, and he thinks it's neat, and he just likes to spend a moment kind of clearing his head. So doesn't really think of anything in particular, just tries to kind of think little and kind of clear the day before. And so he's gonna do all that. What time of year is it? Like, what's the temperature? What's the temperament outside?
It has been a very long summer. This summer has lasted almost 10 years at this point. It is a summer in the Stepstones, so it is probably high 70s, low 80s. Easy outside, feels nice, but you know that it's gonna get warmer as the day goes on.
Okay. So he is going to take, after he finishes meditation, he's going to kind of, get ready for the day and put a little bit of citrus oil on him. He's got a little bit of, just a little aromatic that he'll exude as he kind of goes throughout the day. He'll spend about 5 minutes plucking at his lute, and then he'll head downstairs to breakfast. He's like the opposite of me, disciplined. Which is why he's the opposite of me, skilled.
I mean, you can use deodorant.
True. Pretty good at applying that.
All right. Well,
So yeah, he's just gonna head downstairs, and head on to breakfast. Just get a bite to eat. He's gonna put. Is that my hawk's name? Did I name my hawk Yak?
Good.
Okay. I was making
You
sure that I did.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, as you make your way to the Great Hall for breakfast, you run into a few familiar faces from the castle serving people. Also run into Nicholas and Badru finishing up the last of their meal and and
Sorry.
yeah, you
The
were
moment
able
that
to.
you
Oh, go
the
ahead.
moment that you said Badru, I thought, Badru, my good man. Now that's all that's in my head. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I run into them.
Good to see you, my boy.
My boy, my good time boy, Badru. How do you do? No, but he'll greet him and say, Jesus, now his voice is just Matt Berry. Good morning to you two. How's it going?
Solly.
Fine. Getting to know each other a little. Take a seat. Have brought out. And in short order, you're able to get whatever you would like from open.
You
Cool,
see
cool.
Badru just like jerking at, trying to go do something to help, but remaining seated, quickly learning his new high station.
This is a bit of a change of pace for you, then, yes, Badru?
Yeah, I'm not on the ocean anymore.
And have you ever been on the ocean by choice?
No.
I just
from what
kinda nods.
from what they tell me, the slavers came to take me from my home when I was very young. Don't remember anything of that. My first real memories are of being chained and learning the sword, learning the spear. After that, it was ship to ship, place to place, learning to fight, learning to serve.
Perhaps Ironhand and I can give you maybe a non-bitter memory of the sea. You see kind of like a bit of wave of nostalgia kind of washes over his face. He's kind of like content as he says that.
Yak screeches in the background.
Dang it! That's a sound. That's a sound.
Oh,
bite that I
okay,
need
no,
to add to the soundboard.
you go, Drew. You do it.
No, I can't. I can't do it. I don't have that one set up. Wait.
Do you have a foghorn?
I got a crow.
That's not the one.
That's the closest I got. All right, I'll work on that.
Thank you. In the meantime. In the meantime, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you make all of the sounds.
Thank you.
And after a few minutes of conversation, Martan and Lorena, after they've had their morning discussion, join you at the table as well.
What do we know of the Lorena situation? Nothing? It's all Martan?
All Martan.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry, I'm making an effort to take notes.
Noticeably,
Doing more
Badru's gonna
than
be
your 3 lines.
noticeably on edge once. From what he could tell, the second highest ranking person, the person to save his life, comes up to the table, although he's a small man. Small man.
So small. Almost like a child.
14 year.
Thali's gonna kind of like point to Badru and ask anyone nearby for some liquid courage for my man, please. No need to worry. This kid is... Well, some need to worry sometimes.
He seems terrified.
He can be. But he has a good heart. He is...
He's listening.
Uh,
kind of-
what?
I
what kind of
guess
liquor
I
are
am
you bringing
approaching
up?
the table
grins over
now.
at him. Yeah.
Is Lorena gonna sit down with us as well?
Yes, she is.
Okay. So I just kind of like look at her and just give her a little smile and I sit down and look around and Thali, Nicholas,
lord.
Badru, is that correct?
Yes, Lord.
And at this,
I'm just gonna
Nicholas kind of leans over and he's not really yet. Father is. And you see him kind of think through Dornish law and wonder how much of this he wants to explain to you. and actually he's fine. Call him Martan.
Martan. Am I saying that right?
Yes,
Thali-
that is correct.
like vocally chokes on his beverage when that happens.
Martan.
I'm sorry, Badru.
Martan.
Did. How was your stay last evening? I was summoned by my father. I don't know what your situation was last night. Did someone give you a room, a bed? Nicholas, did you see to him?
I did not.
Well, Nicholas is being hard on himself. Someone showed me to a room, but if Nicholas needed something in the night, I wanted to be sure he got it in the most efficient way possible, which I can assure would have happened. So I stayed in front of Nicholas's door.
In a very helpful way.
Yes.
But we will make sure that he gets his own room tonight. Perhaps adjacent to mine, if you can.
Did you sleep?
Of course, I did. 2-3 hours. It was a great night.
He just came compounding on Melissa's face.
Now, in the hall, like on
In
the
the hall.
ground.
People went to bed pretty early last night. I would say halls were quiet by midnight.
Ah. That won't happen again. We'll make necessary arrangements for you to be near enough, Nicholas, that should he need you, you are available.
As you say, my Martan.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then I just, like, okay, breakfast. A meal, my first meal, first breakfast. After a full night's rest, at home, things seem good.
And
I guess
This is
shortly
Drew, and it's
after
based on the
that-
Song of Ice and Fire.
Shortly after that conversation, Badru would be, and let me introduce myself. my lady. I am Badru. It was a pleasure to meet you, and one so fair.
Thank you. I am Lorenus of House Skrel. Badru, good to make your acquaintance. Am I to understand that you will be serving our Nicholas here?
Yes, he saved my life, so my life is his.
Oh,
Jubilation, ecstatic smile.
You see Nicholas start to protest, and Lorena just goes right through it. Ah, yes. Well, Nicholas is always saying he needs more friends, so I'm sure more than happy to be around. And so burly a man, I'm sure if he runs into any source of danger, be more than capable.
Yes, that is quite the understatement.
Um, your tattoo, I see on your face. You've got a tattoo. My knowledge, they only give tattoos to slaves. I am hope that that part of your life is behind you.
Well, it seems like it is. This is my first trip to Westeros, but one can only hope.
Yes. Well, hopefully we'll get you better sleeping arrangements tonight, and your lives. Welcome to house.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Slap Nicholas on the back.
He falls over and spills a little bit more of his drink. And at this point, you notice Lord Baylor and his wife Ineraphoros enter the hall, dressed in, relatively nice clothes, while casual, still comfortable. He comes with her on his arm, and they take seats at the head of the table, and kind of looks around at all seated. Ah, well, good to see so many of you gathered. Already, we afraid do have news that we must discuss. Where is Radava?
Yes, that's what I was about to ask, actually.
And
But I was going to ask out of character.
Yeah. So quickly asks for a page to be sent off. And Radava, you are asked to attend Great Hall. So have something imperative.
No.
You and Sir Darren are asked Great Hall.
Kind of wave as he
And-
comes in and slap the seat next to me.
And
Elementary school style.
several other members of the household are gathered around you. Well, you, Hargreave, Castellan, and kind of gather in the hall. Nim, Boro,
About to ask them about that.
yeah, all of them kind of come in. And once everyone has gathered, Baylor around and out a small, tightly wrapped roll with a bit of wax on it. Says, some of you are already aware, but it is time we make this. Everyone, bad news from King's Landing. Lord John Arryn, the Hand of the King, died. Fever took him. A fever took him quite suddenly. And it seems now that our king, Robert Baratheon, is heading with most of his court north. One can only heading to his old friend, offer him, and needless to say, the political landscape of the realm is about to drastic, and we have been long absent. We have not made a sun spear in some of you entire lives. Looks over at Martan and Lorena, who have never really been off the island. And I would keep Lorena close by because my heir and I show her the ways the house be run. Time for. But it is customary in the Seven Kingdoms, parts of the world, for young lordling set out on his own and explore the world himself, make his own way, and learn what he can about the realm and our allies. I think that perhaps some sort of outing, travel would be good for you. I think many things come to light recently that I would like to know more about. All here. Hunt answered. And we have been too long from Sunspear. I would reaffirm our relations. Martells, Prince Doran and his brother Oberyn are, I know, at Sunspear currently. Many of their family. Court at Sunspear would well over. Perhaps a visit to the Citadel, so get some of your questions answered from Maester there. Know that Maester Hargreave and Nicholas have some experience there, and perhaps their contacts. I know, Martan, you had questions about this glass candle that you found. Have other questions as well. And Sir Darren, you have family along the way near Hellholt, is that right? Sir Darren, yes, we have family here and Old Town if we that part of our trip. And Lord Baylor says, my mother has family in Dorne as well. At Starfall, and got a grandnephew that's acquiring for Blackhaven. Plenty of places to have a desire to. Plenty of ways in which you name for yourself and strengthen the bonds our house has with parts of the realm. But I would not make that decision for you, and not for route without your input. So, Martan, what are your thoughts?
Whatever is your will, Father, will be done. If you'd like me to go to Sunspear, I shall go to Sunspear. Or the Citadel. It matters not. Whatever you feel is most important.
There anywhere that you wished? They've all been my all of my travels would have you head west. I know that you have now perhaps made rivals.
Have we?
Yeah.
He's referring to Lazoros, led to
Ah.
Mir.
I understand.
Well, Father, I can't say I'm not intrigued by the opportunity to visit the Citadel and being what I can about the glass candle, at the very least. I've thought about it often. It does not seem as important as perhaps reconnecting with the other families here in Dorne.
Well, then perhaps we should start there. Sunspear. That is the closest to us. Ships can take you directly there. Be a longer journey than take a time to prepare for. But Sunspear makes destination. Now, plans, I'm sure, time goes on, but Sunspear, I think, is top. The family there is the Martells, the ruling family of Dorne. Prince Doran Martell rules currently. His brother, Prince Oberyn, there with him. Prince Doran, I will warn you, may have heard of his issue with gout. If you ever see him in person, I expect you shall. Will likely be confined to a chair, legs, stands and walks with great difficulty. Limbs are swollen and difficult to look at. Before you go to court, have you at least be aware of that? Point of. And he tends to be a bit of a thinker. Quiet, careful with words, does not act without reason. Brother, Prince Oberyn, is quite different. Youth, he traveled to the east, fought with the Second Sons in the mercenary company, formed his own sellsword company while he was there, fathered bastards in all over Essos and Westeros. 8 that I am aware of. All daughters. And and he is a bit more of a sinister figure, at least if tales are true.
Who's being spoken about right now?
This is Prince Oberyn Martell.
Okay.
He was accused of being a lord's paramour in Dorne and was challenged to a duel. And he died of his wounds after the fact and poisoning. So, ever after, one of his names is the Red Viper. Whether or not he poisoned in that instance up for debate, but he also did study at the Citadel for some time, so he may have some knowledge of poisons. A learned man, although quite worldly by accounts. Treat them both with caution, but are and have always been their servants. Feast a welcome in the court. See what you can learn while what their feelings are about goings on in the Narrow Sea and in the ways we might be able to help them make ourselves better in line with their goals. And see if you can get a read on their thoughts on us, towards our house. May have difficulty doing that yourself, but that you take with you.
Who's your fighter?
I kind of look over Thali and Radava, I'm like, and then a glance over at Badru. Yes, Father, I do believe I will be able to make use of some of these men in that manner.
Good. If you were to head next to Old Town, makes sense for you to make the stop along the way near the Hellholt. For Lauren family, he took Sharon with you, at the very least. And at the Hellholt, hope you remember your history. Quite a sight there. If you
Hellholt?
Hellholt, the castle in Dorne.
Let's consult our map.
When Aegon and his sisters invaded Dorne, his sister Rhaenys, dragon Meraxes, were brought down above the Hellholt by a scorpion bolt, the dragon's eye. And I have heard that the bones of the dragon are still held in the castle. Something worth seeing. And beyond
GM,
that,
real quick, how learned is Badru of his history?
Right,
you
I've
know,
not yet shared that sheet.
Nymeria and Sunspear has kind of a big thing.
That is, yeah, you're right. Let me.
That's Isles.
Let me. Where? Oh, I think you're already the editor.
Oh,
Look in your Google Drive.
yeah, I'll find it.
Okay. In the meantime, though, if you would like to, you can make just a knowledge test. You have a 2 in knowledge, so it'll just be 2 6-sided dice. To know anything about, I guess, Dornish history as it relates to experiences.
It is a 6.
6. All right. Badru, you would be aware that Dorne is it's one of the 7 kingdoms. It was the last to become part of the 7 kingdoms. And it is when people talk about the king of the 7 kingdoms, they say that king of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men. The Andals come from Andalos in Essos. The first men, of course, from way back. But the Rhoynar are from the Rhoyne, which is a river in Essos. And they are a people that fled to Westeros eventually through the travelings of Nymeria. Princess Nymeria, she was a leader of the Rhoynar and led her 10,000 ships from the Rhoyne through all of the islands to the islands Sosorios and the Basilisk Isles, where you are from. They stayed there briefly before leaving, and eventually they made their way to Westeros, and Nymeria married the prince of, he married a Martell, and they conquered the rest of Dorne and became Queen of Dorne. Although I think they may have retained the titles Prince and Princess.
Yeah, so
I don't remember
Badru
that
would
detail.
know the name Nymeria and possibly know.
He would have heard, yeah, he knows those details because of that's essentially just basic general knowledge. Nymeria, he has heard of both in reference to this general story, but also from the Basilisk Isles, as this queen who stayed here briefly with her many ships before being driven off.
Cool.
And as he's going over the details of the Hellhold, continues with, along the way, I have to reference them. I don't remember first. Way to down. Yes. Your grandmother, my mother, has some family at Starfall. Perhaps that would be worth visiting. Between the Hellhold and Old Town, way there. But I don't know. There's a sword that they have hung on the wall there that is the one's there to wield it. Then wished beyond to Old Town, and he looks over at Maester Hargreave and at Nicholas. Had the conversation about glass candle and told us, Maester, know of it. But the Citadel might know more. Martan inquire. And Maester Hargreave absolutely. Well, I don't know what he be able to glean. Haven't already shown him. The glass candles may once have done something. Have not for some 100 years at the very least. I don't know what a Maester of the Citadel could tell him that I have not. And at that, Nicholas pipes up. Well, none of the Maesters of the Citadel have any desire to magic, purely a magical. What about Marwyn? And Hargreaves, that old fool. No, Marwyn doesn't see eye to eye with any of the other Archmaesters. Less than you, Nicholas says. But he did do much more extensive studies in arcane than anyone else at the Citadel, and might know something. Mr. Hargreaves just... You and he were friends while you were there. I get that... And he saw eye to eye on some... But the man is too interested in prophecy and magic to actually further us in this. None of that stuff works. Seen that. They showed us with the glass candles. Nobody can light them anymore. And Nicholas says, why don't we at least ask? Arwen might know something. And no harm in at least finding out. Hargreave says, have it your way, but I won't put my pen to that letter. I want to go and speak. I don't see what good it will do. Nicholas says, well, so be it. I haven't seen him in a long time. Perhaps he's got that.
Better than gout.
Better than gout. Lord.
The Citadel is located where?
It is in the Reach. So if you travel south, south along the coast of Dorne, Sunspear, and then you travel a little bit farther and get to the Hellhole, travel a little bit farther. There's a big mouth of a river where Starfall is, and then go a little bit further, and that is where Old Town is.
So the answer to that question is Old Town.
What you're asking where
The
Old
Citadel
Town
is in Old Town?
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's in Old Town, which is sorry.
Okay. No worries.
Yep. So yeah, after they have the little argument there, Nicholas kind of leans over to Martan and says, Arwen is an old friend. Very different than the other. I left Citadel for forging chain. I think he's best bet to get, but bit of an outsider and isn't well liked by the other. We get in good with him, we may have difficulty with some of the others. He's an old friend.
Oh, grip it and rip it.
And Lord Baylor says, well, that sounds... I think it sounds like a good idea. And the Old Town and the Citadel is a good place to visit and may have answers to other questions. Well, after Old Town, perhaps for north, visit to Lannister, Iron Island, what have you. Or you could swing back around and through the middle of it. But that feels like too far ahead to plan for now.
The gods know we've got no shortage of places to check out.
A lot of questions that need answering. Well, I think that is a good start. The ships we can have prepared, I would not have you leave right away. Take some time and have preparations to make. Why don't we say 2 weeks' time? Set out for
Huzzah!
Huzzah! He just kind
Ooh.
of tries to make him feel a little bit better.
Who shall you take with you? I would like to keep, of course, your sister here, and Maester Hargreave, and here. It's a good idea for you to take Nicholas, like his contacts at Citadel will.
Yes. I do believe it'd be best to take other. Perhaps the same retinue as last time. Maybe switch it up. Radova and Thali, of course. Nicholas does seem like a wise choice. As you said, Maester Hargreave should remain here. If this should be a long trip, perhaps we could see the family of Sir Dan Valoran, so he shall go as well. And yes, Badru, you would be included.
And Nicholas looks over and nods. He had assumed it in his mind already.
Amazing.
And
Well? You have need of any other hands? I know Nim and Voro are also skilled with bows and blades.
Well,
They may also have contacts. Voro, at least, may have contacts. Nim is an excellent tracker. Way inland.
Might not hurt to have a hand like that with us. Especially if we do catch wind of any Mirish friends while we're out and about in the larger world.
Certainly. Voro. Yes, I don't see why that should be any problem. If they're not needed here, they shall accompany me.
See Voro and Nim kind of at each other, lift their cups. Alright, guess on an adventure.
Dolly just kind
Um,
of grins at him.
Excellent. Martan, Thali, Radova, Nicholas, Badru, Voro, Nim, Darren Verlo.
What do we know about Merrick? Is he here? Yeah, that's right. I went back in the notes, baby, all the way to the beginning. I found all those people we got introduced to in the first session, and I'm trying to figure out who they are right now.
Yep, let me figure out
Merrick
where
Sand.
I have them
Yeah,
included.
Merrick Sand. He's a bastard. He's a Dornish
Oh,
bastard.
yeah, that's right.
Also, a household knight, so, you know,
Sir Merrick
be
Sand,
an
there he is.
asshole.
I have what I wrote and
He's
don't
a
have
bastard.
the rest of that part.
Yes.
So I'm gonna also put "and household knight" next to that note. Thank you.
Yes, he would be an excellent addition as well, actually. So Sir Merrick is from Sunspear and took up as a household guard for the Martells when he was young.
And he's a
He-
Dornish bastard.
And he's a Dornish bastard. He won himself some renown during the conflict with the Kingswood Brotherhood, and let's see, during Robert's Rebellion.
Sounds like we're adding
he-
another knight to the party. That's what it sounds like. to
yeah,
me.
during Robert's Rebellion, he fought under Prince Lewin Martell in the host of 10,000 Dornishmen that were sent to join Rhaegar at the Battle of the Trident. So he's actually fought Yeah, I think he would be a good addition. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Gonna need
seems
that.
pretty great. CBH. That character sheet
Ex-
is stacked.
Yeah.
Also, he's a Dornish bastard. Don't forget that
Also,
part.
he's a Dornish bastard. Yeah.
Oh, just
Um,
land on that word.
Make it real clear.
It was the only thing I had next to his name. So.
Yeah. Yeah. If you bring up his name?
Oh, I can. Thali can do
You
that.
thought of it.
Yeah, so Thali will say, Martan, might you have need of Samaric sand? Renowned fighter and household knight to your father. And also Dornish, and right at that moment, Rodifa sticks
Brother
an
just
elbow.
smacks him right in the arm. Doesn't even like look up from the like he's like in the middle of a drink and just like smacks him real quick.
Probably just got like a small little notepad he's reading from.
Absolutely. Yak's just like chirping in his ear.
Yep. Lord Baylor types up. Oh yes, and connections with Sunspear as well. Great addition to your party, and Sir Clace, we can spare him here, surely. And Sir Clace, the Castellan,
Yeah.
nods. Yes,
I have
of
that
course we
too.
can spare both of our knights to accompany the young lordling. Serves without protection and a worthy guard as he enters the court of Prince. Good to have him. Be a great addition to the group.
So it should be. Sunspear is the closest, so that is where we will head first.
Huzzah!
Bum, bum, bum. Bum,
Good.
bum, bum, ba, ba.
Well, it's decided then. I will.
Ba, ba.
We should discuss in more detail before you leave the houses of Dorne and the political standings. You are aware of them. Make some time for that, and with the Maester present. I will leave you all. Rest of your. Rodiva, could I move private?
Of course.
And he takes you kind of down the hall, making small talk, catching up a little bit, and goes to and leads you up to his solar, and closes the door behind him and says, "As you are going to be accompanying son on this here, you know a bit of the history of Prince Oberyn Martell. I would have us make a good show of faith, and I have something that I think he may be keenly interested."
Nothing if nothing effective delivery, man.
Yes. Well, part of our work many years ago produced some that we have been able to develop over the years. And he put out a vial of the vial itself is clear glass, and inside is this dark black, and it is stoppered and sealed with wax, unbroken. And he says, "This something that we created. It is a poison that once it enters the bloodstream, death is also keenly painful. I know that the rumors about Prince Oberyn and his studies with poison weight let on. I'd like you to bring him this vial and this one. Well, sample it. And he pulls out a third vial. Says, and I would not arm Prince with anything that I would not also arm myself with. And I trust your judgment more than to give this final vial to you. As you give the others, Prince Oberyn, briefly.
I think probably I can arrange that.
I think that is where we're going to end the session tonight. Feels like a good spot. We've got kind of a little bit of time before you guys leave that we can take care of. All
Wipe to montage.
yeah. Wipe to montage where you can begin some training or do some work on things character fit, but also just to prepare for the journey itself and be thinking about what you're going to want to do while you are in places. Sunspear being the first stop, Hellholt, Starfall, perhaps Blackhaven. We will try to pick up there the next time, whenever that is able to be. Someday. As you see, it is difficult enough for us to have a session once every couple of months.
Ain't it
But
just?
We have it, and
but we
it's
have it,
fun.
and it's fun.
Yeah.
And next time we'll start actual journey west.
Our next big leg.
Mhm.
And
Wunderbar.
to see Sunspear and all of the wonders and horrors that await you there. With that, I will say thank you all for watching, and keep up to date. You can follow Twitter, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch. We will be live again with this as soon as we are able. Thank you guys for
Also
watching.
on WordPress /
Are we? Are we on WordPress? Oh,
We're
that's true.
we're definitely not.
Zynga.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodles.